Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pacific. You're here today because you want to learn how to master this campaign, so let's get right into it. The first thing that we need to talk about is campaign levels. So there is a specific formula that I recommend that you follow. I should note, I have maxed out the campaign twice now on two different accounts, so I have found the easiest way to progress through not to waste your time on and what squads to invest into. For both the Allies and the Axis, you're going to want to play your first two battles, get your Medic Squadron, level 2, get your level 3 Engineer Squadron. Now, all the levels from 4 through about 6, you're going to completely skip. Don't buy the weapons, don't invest in the squads, you don't need them. Level 7, however, go ahead and swap out your basic Rifleman Squadron with the Machine Gunner Squadron with the Browning 1918. That's going to drastically help your XP rise. Then we're going to go ahead and do is you're going to skip level 9. Now you do have an option. You can either swap out the Engineering Squadron with, once you reach level 10, the Radio Operator, or you can go ahead and skip the Radio Operator and you can just go ahead and stay with the Engineering Squadron. Now, you're going to skip all these levels that we have right here. Don't worry about the Flamethrower, don't worry about the Assaulter Rank 2 or the Dauntless. You are going to want to go ahead and max out the Rifleman Rank 2, only because Riflemen, Infantrymen, they are important. They are used in every single squad while you're leveling up, so do get your Riflemen to level 2. That way you can get that backpack on them and the max XP for them. You're going to skip all the way to level 20. This is where things really start to kick up. Go ahead and swap out your Machine Gun Squadron with the level 20 Machine Gun Squadron that you have right here. The same thing applies for the Axis. On the Axis, the levels are basically identical. You're going to go ahead and want to skip everything until you reach level 20, where you're also going to use the Type 97 LMG. Swap that out with the Type 11 LMG. Now, as it follows right here, same thing with the Allies. From here on out, you're going to want to invest in the Type 5 rocket launcher, as you're going to want to invest in the Type M1 bazooka. You're definitely going to want to swap out your Engineering Squadron with the new Type 2 Engineering Squadron to max that out. You're also going to go ahead and skip the tank division that you have right here. If you do like tankers, if you do want to use them, Tanker 2 is going to be the way to go because you don't reach Tanker 3 until the last level currently in the Pacific. However, you're going to want to go ahead and invest in a Soldier Rank 3. You're going to want to invest in the 2nd Flame Trooper. The machine gun right here, the Type 96 and the Johnston, amazing weapons. You're going to want to invest within them. Now, I will say that for the Japanese, the Type 4 rocket launcher, I recommend that you skip over it. You can go ahead and rank up the AT gunners, but skip over the Type 4. The Type 5 is better. For the Allies, you're going to go ahead and fully invest in that squad because the M9 bazooka is better than any tank that we currently have. You're going to go ahead and skip over the Stuart with Flamethrower. It's really not all that great in my personal opinion, but you could try it. Now, the AP1 is the bomber that you want to keep, the same as the B5N. If you want planes, those are the two planes to have. Lots of gunners on them, great damage, super heavy bombs for the speed that you get. I recommend that for those of you that like flying in planes. If you like infantrymen, I want to go ahead and recommend that you do max out the Radio Operator. The Type 4 rifle is the best rifle the Japanese have, and go ahead and max out that Tanker 3. For the Allies position, you're going to go ahead and invest in the AP1. That's the best plane in the Pacific for the Allies. You're going to want that M2 carbine because every rifleman can have that. It is basically a fully automatic weapon. Really great, I recommend that. And you're going to go ahead and invest in the M8 Scott because that is the best tank that is currently in the Pacific. Now that you know that, here's what I recommend for squad setup. For squad setup, what you're going to want to do is you're always going to want to have your engineer first, you're going to want to have your AT gunner second, and then you're going to put all the other troops after them. This is very, very important because engineers, you want to have them first. You're running really long distances in the Pacific, you're going to always want to be focusing on those rally points. Engineer, AT gunner second. You're going to want your AT gunner second because most of the time when you're spawning in, you want to get those tanks. Tanks may not have that great of armor, but they can really deal some firepower, so put your AT gunner second. After that, everything that comes below can be any soldier that you want. It's completely up to you. Now, I do want to make a little bit of a side note, and that comes to phosphorus spam. I will say that having squads when you're first trying to level them up completely equipped with large grenade pouches or medium grenade pouches to have as much phosphorus as you can is a really great idea to go into heavily crowded areas, throw the phosphorus in, and get a bunch of kills really quickly. It's really great for leveling squads up quickly. It might not be something that you want to do once you get further down the line. You might want to swap those out for med packs and whatnot. But if you want to level up squads from level 1 really quickly, that phosphorus spam, since there's so many areas that are defended where there's large groups of people that are heavily fortified in the Pacific, that's a really great way to level up quickly. So I would recommend investing in that. Now we're going to go ahead and move into on-the-ground tactics. I'll see you on the battlefield. The first thing I want to talk about is paratroopers. Paratroopers have completely changed the game. If you do have them, go ahead and take one of your slots, keep it open for paratroopers at all time. They're immensely helpful. They allow you to skip hundreds of meters at a time and get to objectives to quickly capture them within seconds, completely flying over the enemy. If you have them unlocked, I really recommend using them for one of your open spaces. Now let's go ahead and talk about planes. Planes are incredibly weak in the Pacific. As you can see right here, just 2 to 3 shots on a plane, especially like the water-based planes, can completely destroy them. You can see within a matter of seconds, I get that kill feed, I get the E-13. Any of those really early game planes are super weak. I don't recommend flying them. And on that note, when it comes to planes, you really want to wait until end tier if you even want to consider using planes. It is 2.7 thousand meters out from the aircraft just to get to the battlefield. And every time that you want to reload your bombs, it's about 5,000 meters, 2.5 there to the refill and 2.5 back. Not to mention how long it takes if you need to repair your plane. It's just not worth it. You don't get that many kills. A lot of people don't really mark enemies anyways. So my advice is wait till you get to some of the last end tier planes, because those are the only ones that are really worth it. And go ahead and just keep yourself focused on infantry, because we're here for the XP and planes are just going to slow you down. Something I really cannot emphasize enough is the importance of machine gun squadrons. They are incredibly effective because of the AI. You will see your AI laser beaming people across map from 60, 80 meters away. Your AI machine gunners are super effective at conserving ammunition, and when you get up close in battles, you can absolutely squad wipe players super quickly, especially once you get to the Browning 1982 and the Johnson LMG. With that being said, build heavy machine guns and place them strategically. The Pacific is so open. I've gotten kill streaks of 50 to 80 kills with heavy machine guns. There's really not that much cover in the Pacific, so really do try to build them, because you can get some great kill streaks giving you thousands of XP if you build those heavy machine guns. But if you really want to be successful on the Pacific, what you need to do is adopt an aggressive mindset. You really need to stop worrying about losing guys, what your death count is going to be. Grab your squads that are fully equipped. When you have a heavily contested point, throw that phosphorus in. Be willing to sacrifice your guys, and be willing to move in quickly in close quarter combat, because that's going to allow you to secure objectives, it's going to allow you to get the most amount of kills, and it's going to really take the enemy off guard. If they see that you're very defensive, if they see that you're unwilling to push in and lose a lot of troops, that's really going to hurt you. So just really be aggressive, go in there, give them everything you got, and don't be worried about losing soldiers. In terms of tanks, all of them are incredibly weak until you get to the end tiers of the Pacific. The Japanese tanks are infamous for the fact that their machine gun is separate use from the actual main cannon of the turret. You're not going to be able to shoot with the machine gun and the main gun until way later on down the line. And when it comes to Type 4, Type 5 rockets and the M9 bazooka, you can one-shot nearly every crew member within tanks within one hit, and within 2 hits, you can completely knock out an entire tank. It's just not worth it. You're going to find your tank incredibly vulnerable to infantry, since most of them have open roofs so that your guys can get immediately killed within just a few shots, or perhaps even a melee charge. So I recommend that you stay with infantry until you get to perhaps the M8 Scott, the M3 Stewart, or perhaps even the Chiha Kai or the Hoyi. With that being said, we've reached the end of our Pacific guide. I hope that you found some helpful tips. I hope that this really helps you max out the campaign way quicker than you would have otherwise. I can't wait to see you on the battlefield and have fun out there in the Pacific.